Well, boys and girls, not necessarily the prettiest win on Christmas Eve, but what the hell, I'll take it. Now, I figured this game would be just a tad bit high scoring, but, look at the weather. They said that it was 3 degrees on the field, but it felt like -6, and even more so with the wind blowing, which would explain the multiple missed field goals by Chris Boswell. But if you look at the Raiders, they really couldn't get much going offensively either. But, slow, grindy game, 80% running, and in the first quarter, maybe even the first half, our run defense just wasn't really there. So we had to rely on our front seven to get to the quarterback, which in the second half they did a damn good job doing. Now, say what you want about both these teams. Both of them are mid. Both of them are first half, second half teams. Like, they can't play a complete 60 minutes. And so, with both teams being on equal footing, this is pretty much the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. And the Raiders are pretty much all out of playoff contention, depending on how that Packers and Miami Dolphins game goes. But with the division they're in, I highly doubt they're going to make it anyway, especially with everybody else with the final 3 or 4 wildcard spots being so crowded. But props to them for having a good majority of the game minus the last 7 or 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. One thing that I didn't like, and maybe Kenny Pickett can learn from this, is those mistakes he made. A lot of the times he was way too hesitant. He needs to get better with making quick decisions. Look at all the weapons you got. You got Fryermuth, you got Najee Harris, you got and I know I was very critical of Deontay Johnson at the beginning of the season, but he's starting to grow a little bit more on me. But he has weapons that he can rely on. And man, George Pickens with that come through clutch catch. Pay that man. He's gonna be a star in the league. Like, wouldn't be surprised if he's top 5 wide receivers in the next couple of years or so. And it's still, he's so young. So we'll see how that goes. And finally, to cap this off, what I like to call the Immaculate interception. Cameron Sutton with the clutch pick. And the thing is, that was one of the harder ones to make, especially when the wind's blowing, the wide receiver is flying down on you, and the thing is, he had to turn his head at the last second. So, yes, I call that the Immaculate interception, boys and girls. Now, I didn't really expect too much of them. Like, I was one of the people who was campaigning for the Steelers to tank earlier on in the season, but any chance is a good one. We've seen crazy things happen. Do I still think that we're going to make the playoffs this year? Probably not, all things considered, but with the way things are, you never know. This is a good, hard-fought, grindy, cold weather, winter type game, and like I said, it was kind of iffy for most of the game, but hey, I'm a Steelers fan. I got to stick it out. But anyway, good win, boys. Merry Christmas to all the good night.